Hello everyone. Today's motivation is do what you can. So, today I'll be talking about do what you can. Often we people do things that are out of our control, and that's why we fail most of the time. So, why should we do what we can? Why should you do what you can? You do what you can because that is the only thing that you can do, right? So, today, in today's motivation, we will be focusing on do what you can. If you're unable to do something, I'll give an example. You make plans with people, right? You make plans or you make promises. It happens. It happens that, on the day when you're supposed to fulfill those plans or on the day when you're supposed to fulfill that promise, something comes your way. Like you are unable to do that thing. You shouldn't force yourself to do something that you cannot do. If a point comes that you are unable to do what you promised to do, then don't do it. Like you mustn't do it because you can't. It doesn't make you a bad person if you suddenly cancel a plan. It doesn't make you a bad person if you're unable to fulfill a promise. This is life that we are living, right, guys? Like, you should know, life happens. Things happens. Things that prohibits us from fulfilling our promises happens. Things that, prohibits us from fulfilling our plans, they happen. Those things they are out of our control. We do not control those things. They just happen. So do not force yourself to do something that you cannot do. Like right now, it is Christmas, right? So many parents, they cannot afford to buy, expensive clothes for their kids. Like, you cannot do it. Don't go to loan sharks because you want to impress your neighbors, by buying your kids like expensive clothes. If you can't, you can't. Don't kill yourself over something that is out of your control. Like, you can't. You cannot afford to buy your kids expensive things. You cannot afford to buy yourself Nike. You can't. Buy what you can afford. That is the only thing that you can. So, buy what you can afford. Relationship-wise, you find guys forcing themselves, to give girls money that they don't even have. You don't have the money. You don't have the money. You don't have the money. You don't even have that money for yourself. How can you have, the money for the girl? I always say this. There's nothing wrong with being a guy and supporting your girlfriend. Okay, that is a good thing, right? But then, keep in mind that... Keep in mind that, you are the boyfriend and not the parent, okay? If the parent of the girl, cannot afford to look after their own kid, what makes you think that you can? Are you the parent? Are you the father now? You can't. Stop, pressurizing yourself to do things that, are out of your control. You cannot do it. It doesn't mean you're weak as a man. It doesn't mean, you're a bad person if, you made a promise to a friend or to anybody, or you made plans with somebody and, suddenly you cannot fulfill those plans. It doesn't mean you're a bad person. It means, you can't. Challenges occurred that now they prohibit you from fulfilling those things. It's life. It happens. Do what you can. Don't find yourself in a position where you are stressed over something that you are unable to do because, something came your way. It's not your fault. That thing just came. You did not expect whatever that thing it is that now it is stopping you from fulfilling those plans and those promises. Do what you can. If you can't do something, you can't. It is not a bad thing. It is not a bad thing. You are not a bad person if you find yourself in a position whereby now you have to cancel plans or whereby now you are unable to, to fulfill your promises. You are not a bad person. And never, beat yourself up over not being able to fulfill plans or promises. It happens. This is life. You are not a bad person. And you can never be a bad person because of that. So, it shows that you are, as a person, You do what you can. Like, you do not do things out of pressure. You do not do things out of like wanting to impress other people. You do things that you can, right? You do what you can. If you can't, you can't. It is simple as that. You're a guy. A girl asks you money. You know you don't have the money. Why do you have to go extra miles, to borrow money that like the girl does not even need the money? She just wants the money. Why would you do that to yourself? You get yourself in debt because you're trying to impress someone. That is wrong. And then when the person leaves you tomorrow, you want to kill them, you want to do bad things to them. Mind you, they did not force you to go and borrow money, on their behalf. You just did that because you want to impress too much. If you don't have the money, you don't. You're not going to go to loan sharks to impress someone. Why? You're not going to be broke, use your last money because you want to impress someone. No. You are not going to do those things. You can't. You tell the person, I cannot do this thing. I'm sorry. This is what I'm faced with. It is what it is. It's not like I don't want to do these things with you. It just happens that I cannot. And that's just that. It's either a person understands you or they don't understand you. If someone is for you, they will understand you. If someone is not for you, they won't understand you. But then at the end of the day, that is not your problem. The good things that you saved yourself from unnecessary debts because you're trying to impress someone or because you're trying to fulfill a promise that it was, no longer in your control. So that is it. To young people, it is now, festival season. So do not find yourself in a position where you go and borrow money just because you want to drink alcohol. That is dumb. Like, I've seen people borrow money to drink alcohol. Like, I've done this once in university, right? That was the most regretful thing that I've ever done in my life. That was so stupid. Because I remember now, when I had to pay the person, I'm like, what am I paying this person for? It's like, I'm paying you for the money that I took to drink alcohol. That was the most idiotic thing I've ever done in my life. Don't go and borrow money because you want to go and drink alcohol. It is not worth it. You cannot afford to drink alcohol, then don't do it. Don't drink alcohol. It is that easy. It's festive holidays, okay, sit at home, watch movies. If you cannot do it, then don't do it. You cannot afford it, then do not force yourself to borrow money so that you can drink alcohol. It is so stupid. Don't do that. Do what you can. If you cannot do it, then you can't. It is that easy. Don't go and borrow money and find yourself in debt January because you wanted to just be happy momentarily. There's nothing wrong with wanting to be happy momentarily, but then at your own cost. If you can afford it, then it's okay. But if you cannot afford it, then you can't. You can't. So, everyone, enjoy your festive holidays. Make great memories. Do what you can. If you can't do something, don't force yourself. Don't beat yourself up. It doesn't mean like you're a failure, you're a bad person, you are dumb or anything. It just means you can't. It is that easy. We all have our own shortcomings in life. There are things that we can do and there are things that we cannot do. We just accept that this is what I can do and this is what I cannot do. And in that way, you can live your life happily.